Today we're going to touch on something very important. I really think this should make a huge change in your health condition. There are hundreds of millions of people who just have chronic back problems one time or another, poor posture. And today with technology, we are in this forward head posture. We're texting, we're writing, we're driving, we're doing everything below us. So I want to talk about the correct way and the only correct way to help poor posture, to help your chronic back pain, muscle spasm, pinched nerves, to help prevent degenerative disc disease. And here we go. We're talking about the sits bones. This is our ischial tuberosities. And many people out there who are not really familiar with anatomy, I'm going to teach you the anatomy. And this is very simple. We call it our sits bones because these are the bones we should be sitting on. And when we're not sitting on these bones correctly, this is where our posture becomes altered. Remember, all good posture starts from the pelvis. So if we're not sitting on those bones correctly, okay, look to the left there, those where you see the little tube marking of blue, that tip, all right, let's look at here. This ischial tuberosity, if we're sitting in front of it or behind it, this is where we start affecting anterior pelvic tilt and posterior pelvic tilt. And what we're going to learn today, we're going to be able to diagnose our own posture. We're going to start to understand that we've been sitting incorrectly. And when you start changing this little thing, you are going to see miracles. And I really mean this. You are going to see miracles in your health by changing one little thing I'm going to teach you. And remember, imagine a building. Whatever you build initially on the foundation, that must be level. And if you're off level at the bottom of the foundation, all the stacks of blocks or cement that you're building above is going to be off as well. And that's how we develop this forward head posture. That's how we develop sway back. That's how we develop kyphosis, because of the imbalance that's going on below from the way that we're sitting. So the next step is to show you the x-ray, the ischial tuberosities. That's our foundation. That's our key component. That's what we want to target right on those ischial tuberosities. So this is going to take us to our meat and potatoes. And I want to just say one thing. Remember that when you have poor posture, and if you're sitting behind the ischial tuberosity or in front of the ischial tuberosity, you're going to become sway back or kyphotic. I'll show you in a second. Your brain remembers exactly the position and posture that you sit in on a regular basis. So understand something. Every time that you sit in a chair or drive in your car, your mind is already defaulted and programmed, just like your computer, from the way you've been previously been sitting. Now, once you start changing this habit, your brain is going to take about 3 weeks before it starts to become default again in that particular change that you're going to do. So I need you to be aware that every time you sit down, start putting it back into your brain. Your brain will put it back in your subconscious. Eventually will become the default that after 3 weeks, you're eventually going to sit like that naturally. Okay, let's go for the fun nuts and bolts here. First thing I want to show you, if you look at this person right here seated, you can see how he's sitting behind the sits bones. His tailbone is like almost hitting it. The person on the right is sitting correctly. I'm looking at the person in the middle with the white background. And what's happening when he sits behind, we start rounding that back off. Let's move over here because I'm going to want to be able to see you in just a second. But this will show us on the left screen. This is an anterior pelvic tilt. So obviously what we're doing here is we're sitting more forward. If kind of sit on your chair now, kind of lean forward like you're sitting right now, you'll notice you get a sway back. And when you get that sway back, we're getting increased contraction, obviously, of those lumbar erector muscles. And we're obviously getting tightness of those hip flexors, because once we go into an anterior pelvic tilt, that means we're sitting forward in front of the sits muscles. We're going to get that contracted hip, tight hip flexors. Now, if you lean back, okay, if you lean back, go ahead and lean back. Now you're sitting behind those sits muscles. What happens now is you have increased contraction and tightness of the abdominal muscles and increased contraction of those hip flexors, the glute muscles. So what we want to do is that we want to, I shorten this up to give you an understanding. What I first want you to do is take your finger and put it underneath your buttocks. I'm going to do it too. Put it on one side of your buttocks and feel that bone. Feel that bone. That is your ischial tuberosity. Just to show you here, okay? That bone, I want you to feel it. Now you feel that bone. Now, your key component, what you want to do now, is that you want to sit directly on top of that ischial tuberosity. Don't sit in front of it and don't sit behind it. You're going to need to rock a little bit in your chair until you get that center point to where you're sitting directly on the ischial tuberosity. Now, when you sit on an ischial tuberosity, watch what happens. Your core muscles start to kick in and everything feels like it's straight. It's amazing because once your brain programs that ischial tuberosity and that center point, center of gravity, the core muscles start to kick in, the shoulders come back, the head comes back, because let's reverse it here, okay? Let's look at the pictures and let's look at the biomechanics of what's happening. Now, the one on the left, in the upper left, letter A, that's an anterior pelvic tilt. So an anterior pelvic tilt is going to bring the pelvic forward, okay? It's going to contract the hip flexors, and it's going to cause tightness of those lumbar extensors, the erector spinae musculature. Now look right below it in C, right below that A. What you're doing here is that you're wedging. If you look at the disc, because as you're leaning back, as you're getting more of a hyperlordosis, not a sway back, but a hyperlordosis, increased lordosis of the lumbar spine. People call that sway back, but it's not sway back. It's a hyperlordosis. Let's show you what here. This is what it looks like. Okay, anterior pelvic tilt causes this. This is normal. So when you sit anterior pelvic tilt, it causes this. So you got more increased lordosis. And what's happening is, if you look how it's wedging back here, all the wedgings in the back, so that means it's pushing the nucleus pulposus forward. You see that little wedge under C, letter C? You see how the disc, the inside disc is being shoved forward? So that disc is being shoved forward, okay? Which is putting, obviously, compression and pressure on the disc, which can cause herniations or bulging. Now, let's look at letter B on the right. Letter B on the right is a posterior pelvic tilt. So that means I want you to lean back. When you lean back, what happens is your back collapses. So watch, here's a normal curve. If I lean back, this is what happens. I lose the curve in the lumbar spine and it starts to become off. It starts to become straightened. All right, see that picture? It becomes straightened. Now as it becomes straightened, the force is being put and wedging on the front part of the body. So if the force now is on the front part of the body, it's pushing the nucleus inside the disc backwards. And this is really common with herniations, particularly affecting nerve roots, because most disc herniations or most disc bulging that causes pain is all posterior. So if you're wedging in this way, and obviously the worst position is that, if we're in this position here, look at our head. Our head is forward, our shoulders are forward, and we stay like this. So what are we doing? We're killing our neck, we're affecting our discs, and we are defaulting our brain to continue to sit that way. We need to change. This is our lesson here. So I want you to find that center point again underneath the ischial tuberosity, sit on it, and I want you to really focus on sitting on the center of that ischial tuberosity. This is what we're learning today. I don't want you sitting forward because you're going to get the sway back. I don't want you leaning backwards because you're going to get the kyphosis and that forward head posture. You got to be right on top of those ischial tuberosities, all right? Let's go to the next picture. We're almost done. This is why I wanted to show you now what this person is doing. You notice that they lost the curve in that low back because they're sitting behind the ischial tuberosity. That's an unhealthy angle. The optimal angle is right to the right of it. You see how everything looks beautiful? You see to the left how their head, forward head posture, everything starts to kyphotic, everything starts to round out, rounded shoulders, forward head posture, unhealthy. To the right is optimally perfect. This is the picture you're going to want to go back to when you look at the video. This is just something you can look at the difference. Again, the same way of sitting behind the ischial tuberosity on the right side where the big X is and normal on the left. You can read that what it does, how it engages. By the way, when you have a forward head posture, it's going to limit your oxygen. It's going to limit your inhalation. Your diaphragm's not going to actually open up. Your lungs are not going to open up because you're compressing the diaphragm, you're compressing the stomach, you're compressing the ribs, and that is a big condition in other situations where people are saying, you know, I feel weak, I feel tired, because you're not getting all that oxygen in. Very important, you're not getting that oxygen. And one tip I want to leave you. If you have a little narrow chair, this is a little exercise you can do, and I like this, I save this for last. If you have something really narrow to sit on, let's say it's a really narrow little stool, you can be creative and maybe make your own little thing. If you have something narrow, you're going to sit correct every time, because you can't sit behind the ischial tuberosity and you can't really sit in front of it, otherwise you're going to slip off that chair. And that's why I wanted to show you that middle picture right there. And I think this is a genius picture because you can't mess up here. So what's our lesson for today? All right. Our lesson for today is to really understand our anatomy below the ischial tuberosity, where it is in the function of it. Remember that we have all the hamstrings, all the biceps femoris, all the muscles behind the thigh area is attaching right up in there. So a lot of conditions like sciatica, or maybe piriformis syndrome, or tight cramping in the glutes are all contributed to this particular area. We have bursitis, which can happen in the ischial tuberosity around that area. But the bottom line is sitting is so important because remember, this stabilizes our entire foundation to our entire body. And when we go forward and we start hunching and we start having all this poor posture and we default that brain, then we're going to continue to do it every time we sit down. So now is the change, not January 1st. Now is a change. I promise you, chronic sufferers. I got hundreds of thousands of people who follow me, and this will help you. This is simple, but it will help you. I really hope that you will share this video. This is really powerful stuff. I ask you to subscribe if you are a new subscriber. Why? I'm going to help you. There's no other reason why, because I care about you. I love you. I ask you to come check my channel, Motivational Doc, on Facebook out. Leave whatever reviews you can leave there, whatever thumbs up you can give me. I appreciate it. But check out my other videos. Got cutting edge nutrition, great self-help videos, all the biomechanics when it comes down to poor posture, occipital SCM, sternocleidomastoid scalenus, all those particular conditions that can be helped naturally by yourself, by doing these exercises, understanding the anatomy, the physiology, to save you money from going from doctors, because I got thousands of people who don't have great medical care throughout the world. And my job is, hey, listen, if I can give you my heart and help you save money, I've done my mission. Anyways, I want to say God bless to all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night, and we'll catch up with you on our next video. Bye-bye now.